say if, and probably Matt Patricia's fired after 2020 season. At this moment, of course, depending on if we actually get college football, there's a potential we could not get college football because certain campuses aren't even have already come out, especially in California, saying that they're not even going to have a fall semester. So, meaning if there's no fall semester, there's going to be nobody there at school, meaning there's no football. So, if there's no college football, that may kind of hurt new candidates for coaching next year, which means more coordinators. But say that thing doesn't happen, and say we do get college football next year, and say the season, everything just kind of goes on as is, like it's never changed. Who would you want to coach the Lions?
All right, so I've narrowed down who I want. I've heard some other names, and they're usually like the other, like basically the coordinators that didn't get hired this season that were potential head coaching, which is Eric Bieniemy. I've heard his name a lot when talking to Lions fans. I don't agree with hiring him, and this is my take on it. We already have Darrell Bevell. And when you look at what Darrell Bevell has done with the Lions in his first year as the offensive coordinator, he's made Stafford return to like 2011 form, but even better, you know? Like, if Stafford was to play the rest of the season, I know it's like projections and they're inconsistent and whatnot, but he was on pace to almost have 5,000 yards, throw like 37 touchdowns somewhere.
Is this you're talking about the Chiefs head offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, but like Darrell Bevell's like, you know, he's basically like reverted Stafford into the elite quarterback that he is. That's just my opinion, but I don't agree with the thought of hiring an offensive minded head coach when you already have a great offensive coordinator.
So yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, like that, I don't know. That's another big issue in the league right now too. Is everybody like wants to find this offensive guru, and I kind of touch on it in a post about Cliff Kingsbury, and you know Sean McVay came into the league and took the Rams over and turned Jared Goff into this. Right, turn Ryan Gosling / Jared Goff into the superstar, and you know, but that was obviously short-lived after they paid him all that money and their team fell apart because they overpaid this guy, and that's a whole other thing I'm not going to get into. But anyway, so Sean McVay sparked hirings like Matt Nagy and Cliff Kingsbury, and Matt LaFleur. There's a whole bunch more that I really won't go into right now, but it's people suddenly got an itch. They're like, oh, all it's going to take is some guy who just knows how to run an offense, and really no, because like as we've seen in Super Bowls recently, I mean, from the most boring Super Bowl I've ever watched, the Super Bowl 53 with the Patriots and the Rams, you know, defense wins championships, and that was a pure defensive game. And I love defense. Man, that game sucked.
Yeah, I know.
But it was all defense. The game was. I mean, Johnny Hecker, the punter for the Rams, was almost the MVP. like he really was.
Like if the Rams were to barely win that game, he was the MVP, no doubt about it.
Yeah, which is crazy. And then I think it ultimately went to Julian Edelman. And then last year's, you know, I mean, not that I'm going to put any credit away from what the offense did in Kansas City in that Super Bowl, but I mean, also Kansas City's defense surprised. I know me everyone. For sure. Yeah, just being like, no, we're gonna step up. We're gonna play really good football. Defense wins championships. They were able to hold. They were able to hold the Niners from stopping the comeback, and from there on, the celebrating ensued, and the Chiefs are champions. And so defense does win championships, and I think getting an offensive guru or a mastermind isn't always the best idea. So who else would you have for candidates?
All right, so my next two options, these are the guys that I really want. When you take in consideration, like, if Patricia's being fired, is Bob Quinn also being fired? I haven't really looked into like potential GM roles because those can pop out of nowhere, you know.
Oh, all the time. I mean, if you're the Raiders, you just get people from ESPN. So
I mean,
you get your head coach and your general manager. You get Mike Mayock and John Gruden. So,
but these are like the two guys I really want for a head coach. I don't think they're the best when you consider like scheme fits. Like Matt Patricia runs a lot of man to man, and he doesn't really blitz that often. Well, he didn't last year, but his defensive mindset is that you need an elite corner to match up 1-on-1 with the best receiver. That way, you can blitz that fifth guy. That's their whole mindset. Which
kind of like a stunt. Yeah, you want to kind of stunt that fifth guy, right?
But the guy this is my number one candidate, and that's Robert Saleh from defense coordinator for the 49ers. Okay. I just really like him. Like when you look at that shiny bald head, and you just look at that enthusiasm he shows on the field.
Yeah, he's fired up.
Just want to run out there and just go through a brick wall for him,
Yeah. You can see how that aside from the names that are on that team, but you can see how that defense was able to play so well with a coach like that. So aside from the Niners defensive coordinator, who's your last one?
This is okay. The only reason I really want
You're gonna say Jim Schwartz.
No. Never in 1,000 years, man.
Hey, but he won a Super Bowl. Well, as a coordinator. But anyway, continue.
Not with us.
No.
No. It's PJ Fleck. The only reason is because that dude just makes you want to just play, That dude has, then again, I haven't been playing football in, quite some time. I only played in my youthful days, but, when you just hear a guy just talk to his players like that, and just talk to people in general, Is
this the Golden Gophers coach? Is this the Minnesota coach?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, that's why I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, no worries. I don't know, just something about him just makes me really just really enjoy him. He just seems like a really good players coach, and I think after the whole Darius Slade debacle, which we don't have to go into, but that could be needed to really boost up that morale in that locker room,
Yeah. Having a players coach is important, and I'll add more to that. I'll let you finish.
I've had a conversation with one of my good Lions fans, and he said that in his experience with playing football, and he's actually trying to he's hustling, he watches film all the time, especially nowadays, but he's trying to actually make it, and I give him mad props for trying, because
it takes a lot. It takes a lot, especially if you don't go to a big school.
Yeah, and I don't think I think he was offered to visit the Michigan State program, but that's a whole different topic for another day. Right. I talked to him, and he told me from his experience, it's more fun playing for a guy who shares the level of enthusiasm as you do on the field.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell you that too. I played football for. I'm not going to go into the exact amount of years, but I played football for nearly a decade, and I had been playing since early elementary school, and I had a multitude of coaches on the multitude of teams I played on. By far the best coach I had was actually my junior high coach. Not that my high school ones weren't any good, but we were our junior high team was so bad, and we just used to get our butts kicked up and down the field. But our coach was just go out there and have fun, kids. But we did. You want, and even though it's junior high, it's still football, and it's still taken serious to some, especially to a coach, and
it's still a competitive game. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and the coach is look, just do you and just do the best you can. No, it absolutely helps. And I almost feel if you just understand sports enough, I feel you should be able to to realize that a player's coach is sometimes a really good thing for your team, but also can be a really bad thing for your team too. Every now and then, just depending on the scenario, it's a very situational thing. But you don't want to have a player's coach, in a team like Cleveland. You know what I mean? Where you got all those egos on offense alone, and because that's going to get some feelings hurt. But I feel like possibly in a team like Detroit, you could absolutely have a players coach, depending, of course, on how everything goes out.
But yeah, those are my main two guys.
Yeah,